Hey guys, Tightrope here, bringing you a 1v1 today. We are on Crossroads. And today spawning in the south we have Aime at Yimo, Kleines, Mädchen. And players are going to be with Grand Defensive, and from the north, FortressYourA. No commander locked in as Brits. Guess trying to change their commanders during the load while searching already. Classic mistake. This is a Patreon backer submitted game. Fortress, I think around... Oh, I got it here somewhere. A 113 as Brits. Aime 390 as OKW. But the Brit players barely played out of their placement matches, so don't know if they will eventually settle at that rank or might be able to judge based on this performance. So very aggressive move here, running straight onto the cutoff. Almost no sectors capped behind this, and doesn't even complete the decap on the cutoff. Big mistake there.
Enemy infantry.
3 well engineers the build so far. Engineers are, you know, they got that capture rate bonus, so they are actually very fast at capping territory. You have a good back capping tool. You want to mix one into your build, especially if you're going for like a universal carrier. Get one of these late and they can cap some of the back sectors away from the combat. There we go, mass all engineers so far. Is doing pretty well, holding their ground. Looks like the Royal Engineers are going to end up taking this on the 2-on-1. Getting pretty good, you know, model drops. This man, the squad staying at 4 man for such a long time. We've got a second coup in the mix, which is not something I really recommend against Royal Engineers. You know, they do have anti-tank grenades, and if they can get in close, they can actually do, well, not even that close, they can actually do pretty good damage to the coup wagons. This is such large target size compared to regular infantry. Almost all the shots from the SMG, you know, connect at longer ranges. And there we go. Exposes the rear armor there. Now, Cooper coming in to try and save the day. He's chasing. Not getting many pins on the frontal armor though, and it will survive. These do have a, I think they're like medium in terms of cooldown on their anti-tank grenade. Slower than Panzerfaust. Well, it looks like he didn't have the munitions for it anyway, actually, since he never connected the muni point. But yeah, slower than the Austria Panzerfaust. I think it's pretty standard snaring time. Maybe like 25-second cooldown, something like that, if I had to guess. Okay, here we go. Troops coming around the corner. Got another Royal Engineer. Double Sternpires mobilizing. Don't have to get close with the Sternpires against the Royal Engineers. Do have better long-range performance than they do. Oh, and that's a late retreat on the Sternpire. And it goes down. It's good working out the back, still requiring repairs. This one coming into the center with detection on to do some capping. Both players starved for resources. This fuel only got connected like quite recently for Aime.
Task complete. Aufgepasst. The command vehicle has converted to a static building.
And Fortress limited in their sectors involved at the moment. Oh, some sloppy Kubel play, and that one's going to go down now. But so do the Royal Engineers. Another Kubel's in some trouble though. Concussive grenade. T-grenade's still on cooldown, but it's about to come off. Going down too fast with the arrival of that Volksgrenadier, and the Royal Engineers die. And then coming around the corner here. Big old blob.
Crew ready for action.
There goes the Kubel. Eventually down to small arms.
Light vehicle destroyed.
Now a bit of a wave approaching. We do have the machine gun coming out for Aime. I'll try to bait these squads into the suppression. And there we go, mass retreat. Fortress is going for another Royal Engineer.
An engineer unit is ready for action.
At this stage, some healing would probably go quite a long way. But won't quite have the manpower to reinforce and build medics. Speaking of medics, Aime about to get them here. And I think I would leave the squad in base healing in this situation. Get them up to full strength. You know, when you... It's not like he's under that much pressure on the map, really, and you've only got 3 units. You want to make sure they're all at 100% strength. Rebuild on the stern piles. I think that's a reasonable idea against the Royal Engineers. You know, G43 Fusiliers could also be quite strong, but doesn't have the munitions for that, so... Never connected the munis down here either. Kind of got interrupted on the capping. Kubelwagen came off that point. There we go, salvaging the Kubel wreck. Still one more up here. I think personally, you know, salvaging is a pretty low priority. Oftentimes you're better off just going to cap a point, since, you know, a point gives you maybe equivalent to salvage over the course of the time you hold on to that territory. Like a minute, you know. So you hold on to that for any longer, it's very good. Anyway, here comes the machine gun. Gets a little bit of suppression in that. Royal Engineer chased away, can't get the flank off. And this blob onto the cutoff, not working out for Fortress. There we go. Everything's retreating now for Fortress. And starting to bleed a lot of manpower from these Royal Engineers. He's just going to keep building them, though. Kind of reminds me of that that game where I cast the Reddit build order, which was, you know, somebody was like, "Hey, let's build a build order. Vote on the option," and everybody on Reddit voted for, I think it was just infantry sections for like 20 of them or whatever. And then after that, started making some real units. Check out that one on the on YouTube if you search it up. Reminds me of that, but this time with Royal Engineers. Set of sections. Here they come again. Getting flanked on the machine gun. The Sternpires might just about have enough firepower to win this. Especially if they can get some decent concussive grenades on. That one not really working too well. Machine gun not that well handled. And oh, that's ugly. That is really ugly. Machine gun somehow didn't retreat there after packing up. Sat back down and got decrewed. And now turned against Aime. Some medics now for Fortress. We did have the option of, you know, putting medics on this squad, this infantry section squad, but didn't opt for it. Would have saved a lot of manpower. But here we go. Better late than never. Medics are on the field. Coming to a bit of an awkward stage for the Royal Engineers. As you can see, this is their Vet 2. Slightly faster construction and half the repair rate bonuses that most other engineers get. So they get no combat boost to Vet 2. And, you know, most other units get big combat bonuses of Vet 2, so although their Vet 1 is quite strong when they're stationary, yeah, they get nothing of Vet 2, so they can really start to fall off at this phase of the match. Especially staying at 4-man as well, because, you know, you try to close the distance, get in range to do damage with them. You kind of need that extra model. Otherwise, by the time you get in close, you're already, you know, down to 2 models or something, and then you just can't do any damage at all. But maybe when used as a massive blob like this, alleviates some of those issues. Since, you know, you'd maybe drop 2 models on approach still, but it's 2 models from 5 squads. Low percentage, and it looks like they're coming in for a big old flank. Loses control of the building there though. And yeah, not really paying much regard. Could have sent a squad out back to cap up all these sectors, but not too concerned about this. And now the Sternpo's starting to flex their muscles. They've got their Vet 2 bonuses. And they are angry. Now we get some Piets for Fortress. He's gone for the pyrotechnics as well on that section. Here we go, 4 on 2. Sternpo's getting too close, throwing out another concussive. Engineer's on negative cover a bit. Ends up retreating both Sternpo's. Could have hung about with the 4 model one for a bit longer, but alright. We're coming up in base, so should be nice and safe back there.
Ready to go.
And Fortress now pushing in. Got a Raketin out by Aime, by the way. Don't know, has Aime come across to this side of the map? Not really, right? Probably hasn't seen that these sectors have just about never actually been connected, so the fuel from Fortress quite poor, but is, you know, close to a medium tank now in terms of fuel. But yeah, at the time this Raketin was constructed, nowhere near. And even then, you know, against Brits, what light vehicle are they going to get against you that's so threatening? And the Valentine's quite strong, of course, but that's only in one commander. You're not going to build a Raketin predicting that they're going to go the Valentine. AC, you know, you can suffer that bleed. It doesn't really do too much damage. Just build a Raketin reactively if you really want to, even. Don't have to. So this was not a good Raketin at all. Here we go, chased away from the fuel on the far side. Situation like that, when this was like, you know, about 3/4 capped, you might as well like run off to this point. That's going to decap itself while you run away. It's not going to be connected anyway by capping it immediately, so need to get this cut off anyway. And here we go. Aime getting forced back again. Just about could get some overs. Decide to unlock Panzer authorization at this stage. It's, you know, it's not guarding any territory really back here. Still ages away from a tank is Aime. So should have been investing this manpower into, you know, units to help fight back on the field, not further tech. Doesn't really benefit. You know, you don't need Panzer authorization to build your overs. Part of the reason why it was kind of split up. So they could come out earlier. And now Aime's in a bit of trouble, honestly. Engineers starting to really get the ball rolling. Got the useless Raketin, the ISG also only moderately helpful. Forcing away the stolen machine gun. But I feel like you should be able to flank it still at this stage of the game. Especially if it's just left completely unsupported like it was over here. But alright, Over's coming in now. Raketin positioning is going to have to be sharp for Aime. Doesn't really have much munitions. Maybe could squeeze out a Shrek, but that would mean no LMG on the Obus for quite a lot longer. But honestly might be necessary. And the kitten sometimes isn't enough, especially if you've only got one Panzerfausting squad to stop a medium tank like this. And as for Fortress, you know, I think going for the Cromwell is a fine choice. It's typically around, you know, normal medium tank timing, 15-16 minutes. Hard to know exactly with a match like this how much fuel Aime has got. We can see still about 60 fuel off for Panzer IV, but like, this will be very hard to approximate. Just playing it safe with the Cromwell instead of going for a Centaur. I think that's fine. And here we go. Chasing away that squad, and then there goes the rest of the units in the centre of the map.
An anti-tank gun has taken the field.
Fielding second Raketen, that's also a fine response. Over's early retreat after decapping the fuel. Imagine this squad will probably retreat after decapping the VP. Looks like maybe they're going to try to set up a crush, but smoke into the retreat path. Cromwell went for an attack round. Didn't chase through the smoke though. Second Cromwell in the build for Fortress already.
A capture point is being overrun.
You know, the double Raketens can defend against this for a while, but certainly not ideal. Oh wow, both attack rounds connecting there. Good work by Aime and holding the line. Some suppression coming in from this side. Well done. You can hang on against double mediums with the double Raketens, but you need your tank to be, you know, kind of in production at this stage. If possible, still about a minute off starting it, and then, you know, roughly another minute build time. Oh, and then retreating the Raketens. I mean, maybe I can understand retreating this one since it is a little bit low, but this one needed to stay on the battlefield. You know, 6 engineers. You know, repair times on the Cromwell are going to be very low. Can't expect to force them away for long. Obus did indeed get the LMG, so no Shrek for a while. And Stern Pies smoke out to cover the retreat again. Might be worth doing it like lengthwise to cover your retreat for longer, but alright. Waiting for a bit of a crush maneuver. Raketen's lining up, but no munitions for the Panzerfaust. Raketen's getting some big hits though. Oh, but they don't quite get the final shot on this Cromwell. It's backing off. The other Cromwell diving in. And here go the Royal Engineers. G having to back away now also. A Jagdpanzer are going to be the option for Aime. No, it cancels that. No, starts it again. Alright. I think I'd still just build a Panzer IV here. You know, you got the double Raketens for some anti-tank. The problem is building a Jagdpanzer. It gives you nothing against the infantry, and you're not really winning the infantry fights by that much of a margin that you can get away with the Jagdpanzer at this stage. That's how I feel, at least. At least with how the OKW units have been utilised so far. And the OKW Panzer IV, you know, with the extra armour, the skirts, can fight off Cromwells quite effectively, at least before they hit like Vet 3 and get all those crazy reload bonuses. We've got a couple of mines going off. That's one benefit of not having any commander, I suppose. You've got plenty of munitions for mines instead of airstrikes. But here we go, Jagdpanzer. Coming now. Another issue with this is that, you know, you've got a lot of maybe slightly hard to use units at this stage that require setup and facing the right direction. So far it seems to be a bit of a weakness from Aime, but I'm not entirely sure why Aime Fortress actually trying to destroy these hedgerows. Seems like it is to the British player's advantage having them there, since he's got all close range units that can kind of sneak in to close range, coming around the bushes and maybe avoid the anti-tank guns having such a long line of sight. There we go, double Cromwell's getting stuck in. Snare out. Cromwell's in some big trouble now. We've got the Piets coming in from the side. Getting a snare off. Jagdpanzer misses the kill shot. Volksgrenadiers go down. MG doing its best over here. Cromwell looking to flank around and again retreating both machine guns. Jagdpanzer misses the kill shot on the Cromwell once more. Ober's getting pinned. There goes one Cromwell. Sturmpire's doing alright out the back, but the Jagdpanzer... Ooh, Obers die. Jagdpanzer about to fall. MG eventually getting outmaneuvered. And a bit of a crush move there by the Cromwell. Sturmpires are on the run. The Cromwell's not going to let them off the hook. Going to chase them, looking for yet another wipe. There you go, the Sturmpires. The double Raketens lining up, get a good volley in. Come off to the side though, it's quite fast. Oh, and smoke to cover the retreat. Goes for some attack rounds, but they land well short. Now Aime had a lot of manpower, but doesn't have a lot of units anymore. Both Sturmpires, Obers, Volksgrenadiers all did in that exchange, as well as the Jagdpanzer. It was a very painful. Started out so promising, but you know, missing 2 kill shots on that Cromwell really slowed things down a lot for Aime. Led to that Jagdpanzer O committing. The Piets on that one squad of Royal Engineers, saving the day for Fortress there, honestly. Without that, the Cromwells probably would have been in a lot more trouble. But that extra damage was huge. Triple cap against Aime, and down to just 200 BPs now. Raketen gets in for one shot, but again, Raketen stacked right next to each other. Can be very strong at like wiping tanks head on, but if you don't have any head-on presence to spot for them, it's a real liability, especially in those snaring units. So the Cromwell's just coming in for a base inspection. Decrease the second Raketen in the base. Fresh Cromwell rolling in now as well. Destroys the decrew weaponry. It's all over for Aime at this stage. Brick Blob charging down the cutoff, marching down the remaining OKW troops. Squad on the retreat now. They'll just do somehow survive, but not the ISG. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. I wonder if these guys are chatting to each other or something at this stage. Piets attacking ground. And there we go. Whew. So yeah, I don't know. A weird start. I'm not really a big fan of double Sturmpire, double Kuhwagons as a starting build order. Especially if your micro's already like a bit weak. I feel the Kuba was reasonably challenging to use well in the early game, so getting 2 of them really stacks the requirements on you. And then, you know, especially if you're up against squads that have snares right from the get-go, such as Royal Engineers, you know, they don't have to tech them or anything like conscripts do, or wait until the officer's done like US Forces Riflemen. And SMG units as well, that it just makes the Kubels not very good. But yeah, overall, you know, interesting match here with the Royal Engineers. Seemed like things were going quite poorly. You know, there's a period where the Royal Engineers, it's down to like 2 squads of them or something, and the sections, but bounced back very nicely. Aime, you know, making a lot of mistakes here in terms of like tech, trying to go for the Schwer early and this, which, you know, still so far away from a tank, no point in taking this. Maybe could have squeezed out 2 squads obus, help fight back in terms of infantry earlier, get some more territory control going. The Jagdpanzer, yeah, I don't know, seemed like it was a struggle. It's leaving the 2 Raketens right next to each other. Good for knocking out tanks, bad for getting flanked. And yeah, really, Aime just struggling this game, I think largely because of munitions. You know, this was decapped for so long. Really struggled to afford upgrades for squads, as well as, you know, the smoke bomb planes. So that hurt a lot. A lot of these units significantly less effective in this match because they didn't have weapon upgrades. Those, you know, Panzerschrecks would have gone a long way to help defend against those Cromwells, but wasn't happening. But you're definitely a little unfortunate about that Cromwell surviving. 2 shots from the Jagdpanzer, like missing right at the end. Really seemed to throw Aime off with all the smoke around and lead to an overcommittal of the Jagdpanzer. But yeah, okay, mass Royal Engineers. Guess that can work sometimes as well. Anyway, guys, I'll wrap on that. If you like good games, you cast by me, details are in the video description below. Otherwise, I'll catch you all for the next thrilling installment. Goodbye and good luck.